relatively sunny-ish afternoon here in Dublin. It's a little bit overcast, but it's cold. So, but we're all indoors anyway, right? What else would we be doing? So, so I said, welcome. So I'm David Kenny. I'm an assistant professor of digital business here in DCU Business School. I'm also the program chair for the MSc in e-commerce, or MECB. Which I'll refer to it as MECB for short, right? Because MSc in e-commerce or electronic commerce is a bit of a mouthful. I just realized, just from looking at the slide here, that's not me, obviously, on the slide. Okay, I should have probably had a separate slide that says about me, just to follow on from what Kira said. Just on the AACSB accreditation. So that puts DCU Business School, as Kira said, in the top 5% of business schools globally. And what it means is that the business school is rigorously assessed for continuous quality improvement across our business education, and that's through things like engagement, innovation, and sort of wider impact. So it's definitely a differentiator for you, for your CV, to have a master's that is AACSB accredited. Okay, so I just have another slide here just to continue on with the self-aggrandizement of the program. The course is an award-winning course. It was ranked one of the top 10 master's courses in e-commerce and digital marketing by Ed Universal in 2019. And in terms of, say, industry recognition, it's accredited by the Institute of Management Consultants and Advisors. So much so that they recognize the course, and as a student on MECB, you're entitled to graduate membership of IMCA, and then you're entitled to graduate membership for 1 year following completion of MECB, and then I think you can apply for associate membership role. So that's, I'm not sure what that is, probably €100 a year or something. But it kind of highlights DCU's links with industry in that sense. Okay, so as I said, enough self-aggrandizement. This is roughly what I'm going to talk about today. So I'll go through the entry requirements for the program structure. That includes just brief overviews of the modules, how you'll be assessed. I will look at just what some graduates have done and some of the companies they've gone on to work for, and then we'll end it with a questions and answer session. So if you can post your questions, as I think as Kira said, into the Q&A function, and then we'll get to them at the end. Okay, so first up is the entry requirements. So now a lot of this information is on the course webpage, but as you can see, we look for a minimum 2.1 honors degree, and that can be in a business discipline or in a cognitive discipline. So it may be a non-business discipline, but something kind of related. So this course is very much at the intersection of business and technology. So if you have a CS background, computer science, applications, enterprise computing, or indeed if you have, say, a communications background, media studies, maybe graphic design or something like that. If you don't have a 2.1 in your undergraduate, but you have a 2.2, you can still apply, and your application will be sort of assessed on a case-by-case basis. There will maybe a place for you, so it is open to application. Looking then ahead at the program structure, so this is indicative, and by that I mean this is what it looks like this year. The program underwent a change last summer from previous years. So I think MECB is, I think we're coming up on the 25th anniversary or something. So it's one of the flagship programs for the business school, and so we have to continuously revise and keep it up to date. So what I will say here is this is possibly subject to change, but as we'll say later on, if you keep in touch with us, if you subscribe to hear from our newsletters or just keep in touch, we'll send you updates, when we know more closer to the time over the summer. So, but as it stands now, this is what the structure of the program, this is what the modules are. And when I say subjects change, it won't be dramatic. Certainly the content will have to be obviously current, right? And sometimes modules may change names or something like that, but the key components will remain the same. Just might be reordered slightly. So I'll go through just briefly some of the modules here. So the first one you see there is digital business, and that gives you that's kind of sort of digital business 101. So digital commerce, e-commerce. What is e-commerce? You look at digital business models, elements of strategy. It'll touch on things like online consumer behavior. It'll give you sort of a good conceptual foundation in some of those, some of the concepts and underpinnings of, electronic marketplaces and some of the associated business, technological, and societal, implications of those things. The next module there is MG5000. So that's digital marketing mechanics and authorship. So this is where, so what I'll say here is, following some feedback we did last year, that was part of the reason why we made some changes to the course. And one of the requests was for more digital marketing. So I'd say about 10-12% of the course currently is digital marketing related. And in this particular module, you're looking at how digital marketing works, okay? And you're exploring in depth things like search engine optimization. We've a focus on that. We've built up a capability in here in terms of how we teach that. Social media, content marketing, and then obviously some of the more maybe programmatic aspects of marketing and marketing automation and that kind of thing. There'll be so for that module, there's some client-based assessments on that. So you'll be given real clients to work with in terms of, conducting search engine analysis, search engine optimization analysis and implementation. And the other part of that module is creating a digital portfolio around content marketing and social media marketing. Next up there is digital marketing and e-business management. So that's 5003. And in that module, it's slightly different to the others in that how it's delivered. So it's quite, for the moment, it's quite event-based. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but this year we've been running with the Institute of Digital Business .lab based here in DCU, is the Transform events. So these are, it's like a sort of mini events that are running every couple of weeks. They're week long, and it looks at all aspects of sort of the application of digital technologies to different aspects of business and society. So, changing consumer behavior, digital commerce, smart cities, and that kind of thing. And so part of that module is you'll be attending these events. You'll be writing learning reflections on them. And then another aspect of that module is you'll be working with a client to develop a sales and digital marketing plan. So incorporating digital marketing and e-commerce into sort of a 12-month plan. Your research methods module there, so that that kind of aligns with the practicum module or the dissertation, which I'll talk about in a minute. And in that one, it's introducing you to research methodologies, quantitative, qualitative, hearing or answering a research question, and it's designed to support you in either your dissertation or in the academic aspects of your practicum. So for that one, you have to complete, say, a research proposal. So it's very much geared towards helping you with that module. Next up then is data analytics and metrics, and that sort of starts off with a statistics 101, or if you've done statistics before, it's a statistics refresher. And then you'll move into learning SQL and databases. You'll also look at some programming, particularly R and RStudio, and you'll be using that for analytics. You'll also be doing some data visualization and using tools like Tableau. And you'll also be looking at sort of digital business metrics and KPIs. So whether it's e-commerce or digital marketing, what are the key metrics for campaigns, and how to play around with those and visualize them and analyze them and optimize them. And so, yeah, you'll be applying that to various aspects of digital business. So, working with social media data sets like Twitter data sets, and doing things like text analysis and network analysis and that kind of thing. So it's a very analytics focused module. The next one there is applied web design and development. So as it says, it's very much applied. So in that one, you'll be doing things like HTML, CSS. You'll be working with content management systems. You'll be building websites, brochure website, e-commerce websites. You'll be using content management systems for a website and for e-commerce. You'll also be doing aspects of web design. Usability studies will be a big focus there as well in that module. Moving on to information risk, security, and business analysis. So this one is pretty much, this has been well documented in news and media. So data is everywhere. As consumers, we are creating data, for marketing companies and for brands, and this data is exploited for commercial purposes and sometimes for nefarious purposes. And so it just raises the importance from an organization's perspective on things like privacy, right? So privacy for organizations, privacy for consumers, regulation around things like data protection. So obviously GDPR is a big thing. And for organizations, then it's things like information security, risk management, data governance, and then aspects of, say, business continuity. And then another part of that module is business analysis. So, the ability to understand and document things like business processes, requirement solicitation, business process modeling, and that kind of thing. Next up is innovation and high technology entrepreneurship. So that is essentially how you would look at commercializing new technology. So in DCU, various research centers, and we have Invent is where things are commercialized. So there are spin-ins, companies that come in and set up, and there are spin-outs where there's technology that's invented and patented within the university, and it's sought to be commercialized. So in that module, you're looking at how to commercialize a technology-based product or /service, and then it's looking at things like new business planning, technology evaluation, market evaluation, market entry plans, and that kind of thing for a high technology startup, for example, right? And you look at things like the frameworks like Lean Startup Canvas and that kind of thing. Next one then, last but not least, is the practicum. So what I'll say here is you have a choice. You can do a dissertation, which is an essay, in which you're solving, you've come up with a research question that you're looking to answer, and you will employ research methodologies, or you can do a practicum. And the practicum is a group-based project where you're given a real client and you have to work with that client on solving a real business problem for them. And so it's an applied research project, and it's an applied client engagement project. And in that one, you will have to conduct some primary research, and obviously some desk research. And then so that'll happen from, say, February to April, May, and then from May to July, there's an applied component to it. So it could be something like developing a website for them, or implementing e-commerce, or doing, helping them transition or launch something. There could be some digital marketing involved there. So it's very much an applied project. So that's roughly the structure. As I said, it's kind of subject to change, but nothing too dramatic. It's just really to reflect an evolution of how we keep the course current and updated. So moving on then to how you'll be assessed. So it's 100% continuous assessment. So there's no 3-hour exams at the end of a module. It's all sort of project and assignment based. So it's a mixture of individual work, things like essays or short projects, or group work. And some of it is client focused, right? So you're given a client and you've got to analyze them, make some recommendations, or maybe implement things. Okay, so learning how to manage a client relationship, manage projects is very much an important part of this. So in terms of individual and group, it's roughly 70-30 split, right? So you're not overly reliant on group work. Pass mark for all modules is 40%. There's no pass by compensation. And if you do happen to fail an assignment, you get to repeat it over the summer. If you have to repeat an entire module, you'll do that over the following year. There's no exit award for this, so it's a 90 credits, and so once you're in, you're in. There's no leaving with 30 credits or 60 credits to, with a diploma or a graduate certificate or something. Once you're in for the masters, and you're in for the long haul. Okay. The other thing I'll say about assessments is they're fairly regular. So, you really need to learn things like time management and project management, and, be able to hit your beats every 5, 6, 7 weeks, so the onus is very much on you to really manage yourself accordingly. And that just means, not watching Netflix for 1 year. Just take 1 year out of your life, commit to a master's, do well, come out the other side, stronger and more learned, and less Netflix and less YouTube. Okay, it's only for a year. Okay, so just looking forward then in terms of, say, employability. So DCU, and particularly the business school, is quite proud of its employment rate, and we do rank fairly high in that. And I think something like over 90% of our postgraduates will find employment or will go on to further learning within 6 months of graduation. So we do have quite a high employment rate, and that's in a sense a function of our ties to industry. And so yes, you will have your regular academic lecturers delivering the modules, but we also will incorporate guest speakers, and industry speakers will come in. So we're very much aligned with industry on this program. And so where graduates have gone, again, it's very much a function of an individual thing. So a person's individual background and their own ambitions of where they want to go. But there's just a selection of companies that graduates have gone on to work for. And obviously there's big tech companies there. There's some smaller SMEs. So I would say on the program for the client-based assignments, you would generally be working with SMEs, and there, what happens is you will get to, when you're applying for either graduate programs or interviews, you will be able to competently and confidently talk about the applied work you've done, measurable outcomes on projects that you've worked on. So the course will put you in a good position in that sense. So I think from there, I'll open it up to questions. But before I do, what I will say is, do stay in touch. Thank you for attending this and listening, or if you're watching the recording, thank you for taking the time. So do stay subscribed to hear from us, and I'll just put that up there. That's so you've got, reach out to Kira or the team, and you've got my name, my email address. So any questions, just feel free to shoot me a question. I will try to get back as soon as I can. So it's within 48 hours, say. And so with that, I will just leave it up to, I will open it up to questions for anyone.
All very shy there at the minute, David.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So if you do have a question, there's a Q&A button. Just open it up, write in your question. If you are feeling shy, there's a little box that you can tick that says you can ask your question anonymously. So your name or face, nothing will appear.